Got some good stuff for you guys. Give it up to Marketing Director, always bringing great value, Matt Chang.
Good evening.
Good evening.
You guys fired up?
Yeah.
All right, we are almost halfway through the month. Let me ask you though, are you happy where you're at?
No.
Okay. Should never be totally satisfied with where you're at. Should always have that little uncomfortableness about, okay, there are people doing pretty good. And by the way, people are doing pretty good already in WFG, they're still a little uncomfortable. You talk to any of the big leaders in WFG right now, they're more fired up about WFG now than they were when they first got started. Mm-hmm. If you guys follow people like Dan Charlier, Sean Villalobos, Fredo Barber, all these big time leaders in WFG, all they're talking about, the next wave is coming. We just don't know when. Right. And when that next wave comes, are they going to be on your team? Right? Mm. And that's the main focus of our business. Is it's a race for outlets. It's how many of you guys can go out and get a result on your own, right? Not only just recruiting, but also out in the field. Because out in the field, that's where we make our money. Mm-hmm. I mean, let's not get it twisted. You don't make any money recruiting, right? You make money when you actually physically sit across a kitchen table from someone and you put a financial strategy in place and you help them. And keep in mind, because you help that family, you're building a legacy for them for generations. Just imagine if you were never on, whether you were a cold prospect or you're on somebody else's warm market top 25 list, if you never got that phone call from somebody in WFG. What do you think your legacy would look like if it wasn't for WFG? Right? And then people that we recruit that quit, but they're still clients, at least we still did them great justice by making sure that they're still a client of WFG. Right? Because you look at how many people we sit down across the kitchen table, 8 or 9 out of 10 really don't have a financial plan, or little to none or no life insurance, not really saving anything, right? So today what we're going to talk about is the second part of the core of our business outside of recruiting is the kitchen table presentation, right? So we have enough time that we should be able to get 3 of you guys to actually run through the presentation, right? But I'm going to kind of pre-frame a few things. You want to use a form, and you can get this from me. It's called Trust, Respect, Customize. And you guys have heard this in the Ed Milet KTPC, right? Mm-hmm. I want to earn your trust. I really, respect your time, but I want to custom tailor this presentation to what's important to you, right? Now, the beautiful thing about being in WFG, we're not cookie cutter, like a New York Life, a MetLife, a Charles Schwab, a Merrill Lynch, where they're just cookie cutters. It's this, and this, and that's it, right? Being in WFG, because we're a marketing company, it's like, okay, here's the menu. Let's find out where you're at, and let's figure out what's going to be best for you and your family, right? Mm-hmm. Now, something you guys want to keep in mind, if you guys notice, you're starting the presentation off, and the way it should be done every single time is with questions. Mm-hmm. A great presentation, you want to write this down, a great presentation is full of questions, not statements. Mm-hmm. It's all about questions. Because you asking the questions will get all the information you need to ultimately close and help a family. So the question is, how good are you asking questions? That's really a key part to it. In your KTP, are you constantly asking questions? Are you going to make statements? Yes. But a majority of your presentation should be about questions, right? So you start off in this, the Trust, Respect, Customize. You guys won't have to do this, but the 3 people we've kind of predetermined that are going to come up, we're going to make sure you guys we're going to role play the presentation, who we are, right? The backing, Rule 72, 3 tax boxes. Okay, that's what we're going to do. We're going to role play those 3. Okay? So with the Trust, Respect, Customize, this is building the rapport with the client, right? Because you want to build that trust. You want them to like you. Because the only way they're going to do business with you is if they trust you and they like you, but most of all, what Nick was kind of talking about earlier, is how much value are you bringing? Right, I was having lunch with a friend of mine earlier today out in Orange County, and we're kind of talking about what I was doing, and she's asking, she's like, well, how much do you get paid and stuff like that. I was like, well, I'm self-employed and 1099, and if you really put things in perspective, you talk about hourly compensation. Average client probably pays me about $1,500 or $2,000 per client. It's in an hour. Imagine if you're getting a consulting fee for $2,000 an hour, right? But how you build that value is just like what Nick was mentioning, is your self-development, your associations. She was asking me, she's like, how many people do you still hang out with outside of high school? Nobody. They all got the wrong mindset. By the way, a lot of these people are married with kids, they own a home, they're still out drinking and partying every freaking weekend. I'm like, you guys are like in your mid-30s, what are you doing? Right, and they're asking me to come and hang out with them, I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. That's part of your association, because depending on how the people you associate with, it's either going to bring up your identity or it's going to pull it down. Right? And I don't want to, and there's nothing against my friends, but it's like, I don't want my identity pulled down. I'd rather feel a little uncomfortable hanging around with like Nick or like Eduardo, guys making like 15, 20 grand a month. Right? Shit, that's what I used to make an entire year at Costco Wholesale. 20, 25 grand a year at Costco Wholesale, busting my tail, but I got good at this. I can make what I used to make an entire year at Costco in a month, here. But the only way that works is you get good at the client presentation, right? The KTP. So your questionnaire just like this. And by the way, it's okay to just have this printed out and just read it out right in front of the client as you're sitting down with them. And some of us that are a little bit more seasoned, we have this pretty much memorized, right? But some of you guys have been out in the field and you've seen me use this form before. And also, too, it tells the client when we're sitting across from them, they're like, it's as simple as them filling out the form. Because that's what it really is. It's filling out the form, right? So what do you do for your current career right now? Right? Then what do you like about your job or your career? What are some of the things that you would like to change? Not the things that you dislike, but what would you change? Right? And what are the top two answers for most people? Money and time. Mm-hmm. Money and time. I got into the business because I wanted to make more money. And eventually I got good. I sat down with Nick. I got to a point where I was so busy doing WFG, I had to come full time. But I remember...
Can you blow that up?
Yeah. Oh, I have to probably turn it this way.
There you go. Yep.
Right? I remember when I first got signed off by Nick, I sat down with him, just like most of you guys have, right, to be signed off as a field trainer. I did my presentation, and I still remember it vividly in my head that I sat down with him. He's like, all right, you got a good, solid foundation. Now you're going to go F it up a few times, and you're going to come back. And I did. I screwed it up probably about the next 3 or 4 appointments. I didn't close. Came back to Nick, and I said, okay, this is what happened. He's all right, this is what I've done or what I would have done. That's the power of the leadership, right? Because they can give you constructive feedback on what you can change so that when you go back out in the field again, that you're going to close and help that family. That's more important, right? And ever since then, I really haven't had really any issues, right? Even like some of my teammates, they come back to me, it's like, how would you ask this question, right? But this all right here, this is your fact gathering during the KTP while you're getting to know them. Okay. Now here's one of the test closes, right? If you ever read Tom Hopkins' Mastering the Art of Selling Anything, this is a test close. Are they paying you enough money to achieve all your goals that you have for your family? Right? What's the most important thing to you in your life? Right? Like for me, things are changing. I'm going to be a dad soon. Right? That's exciting. Mm-hmm. Which, by the way, just an update for you guys. My wife's 16 weeks now, healthy baby, mm-hmm. healthy wife. The future father's eyesight's starting to go a little bit more. I went to the eye doctor. He's like, yeah, your vision's gotten a little bit worse. I'm like, it's okay. I get it. I'm getting older. Right? That happens.
You can still count the zeros in the bank account.
That's true. That's true, right?
Me too.
But you start asking people what are some of the most important things? Is it your family? Is it your kids? Time with your kids? Okay, now if you have the time with your kids, are you being able to do all the things that you want with your kids? Mm-hmm. That's two different things, right? You could have time with your kids, but what kind of quality time do you really have with them, right? And then what are some of the goals and dreams that you have for your family? Pay off your house. Is this your dream house? Right? Do you ideally want to live here in Norco or Corona or Rancho, Eastvale? Where do you want to live? Right? And it's like, I'm not saying anything differently that you guys haven't heard before. Right? Now, based on all your dreams and your goals, how much money do you have to earn annually? You know what everybody always says? 6 figures. Multiple 6 figures. Right? Like where I live now in Eastvale, most of the real estate goes for about 600 to 700 grand. So your household income is probably going to be at least 150 to 200 grand to live in that area now. That's what your real estate goes for. And Eastville's just a 10-minute drive, but everything's within 10 minutes of there, at least for my wife and I. Everything we do is within 10 minutes, except for my in-laws. They're all the way in Alhambra. That's a good solid hour on the 10. Who hates the 10 freeway? Everybody does. I do, especially on a Saturday, right? But that's, these are all the little questions. You're kind of poking at them, little by little, right? Next question: when will your current job or profession pay you the income that you need to realize your dreams? And they always say, never. Unless somebody has a very detailed business plan about what they're doing with their life. But I mean, in all reality, how many people really have that? Hardly any, right? If your job or profession won't allow you to realize your dream life, what's more important to you, staying in your job or profession or pursuing a better lifestyle? Another test close. If I could show you a legitimate and viable way to earn a better income, would you take advantage of it? That's a test close. These are all the little yeses that lead to the ultimate yes, whether you're recruiting them across the kitchen table or you're making them a client, right? And then you tell them, this is why I decided to get into WFG. Then you tell your 2-minute story, right? Like we've had some of you guys come up and do your 2-minute stories. There is a reason for it. Right? But also too, when we've gone out prospecting, how can you turn that into probably a 20 to 30 second so-called commercial on how you market yourself? This is all part of it, right? So you tell your story and then you tell these 3 things, keep 3 things in mind. Are World Financial Group, Transamerica, Aegon credible companies? Are the financial solutions we create for people life-changing? And who do you care about that would benefit from being introduced to us? Right? So these are things you want to, by the way, I can, like I said, I can airdrop this to you. So if you have an iPhone or an iPad or a MacBook, I can airdrop it to you. If you don't, you've heard me say it before, get it with the program. Right, like I know some of you guys aren't with the program yet, right? So this is where it's set. Right there. But now the other part is, you guys see what I read. I had somebody ask me, hey, what's that deal with that education on taxes? Oh yeah, that's another ball game. You're not ready for it, right? But when you actually do your presentation, right after you're done building a report, then you tell them, look, we're going to switch gears. We're going to talk a little bit more about the company, who we are, and exactly what it is we do, right? So the 3 people we've chosen to come up here, right, and to do these is going to be Janice, Anthony, and CJ. Okay, so you guys are going to start here and all the way up to the tax boxes. CJ's like, what? Right? Because here's the thing: if you guys aren't out in the field, what are you doing to practice your KTP? Right? Or what are you doing to practice your scripts? Like if I called you right now, could you invite me to a BPM? Could you close me on an IUL? Right? Could you explain the 3 tax boxes without really looking at it? Right? So let's start there. Let's see. Okay. So let's start with Janice. Janice, come up first. Come on, girl.
Yes, Janice.
All right. So Janice will be first. All right. So go ahead and how you do the KTP. So just go ahead and start.
Okay,
So like, let's just say you're sitting down. Okay, let's pretend.
With you? Sitting with everybody?
No, she's just gonna present it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's go.
So I just wanted to kind of break down who we are and introduce who we are as a company. World Financial Group, with WFG, is a financial services marketing company whose associates through affiliated companies offer a broad array of financial products and services. It's a company built with your family in mind, and we believe with your help we can achieve anything, including our vision. So our vision as a company is to build the world's largest financial services marketing organization. Our mission is to help families achieve financial independence, and our system is a powerful solution for building successful businesses. So it's an opportunity, a movement with your future in mind. So next, our parent company is Aegon. Have you ever heard of Aegon before?
No.
Don't feel bad. Most people haven't, but it's one of the big global powerhouses based in the Hague, Netherlands, with assets worth over $500 billion. Transamerica was actually founded in 1930 as one of the leading insurance and investment firms in the United States. It was acquired by Aegon in 1999 for $10 billion in stocks and cash. And World Financial Group has over, I think the number is that?
Yeah.
3,500 offices in 45 states and in 5 countries, including Canada and China. And in 2012, World Financial Group and Transamerica merged, making us the 3rd largest financial group services marketing company in North America. And for the past consecutive 4 years, we've been ranked #1 in both growth and revenue sales. So it's just kind of to show you how great and how big of a company it is. And I mean, looking at this track record, would you have any problems trusting and investing in a company like this? No, great. So what makes us absolutely different from a lot of companies you've probably been with is we're non-captive. So what that means is we work with many, many different companies you've probably already heard of, companies like Nationwide, who's always on your side, Pacific Life, and Voya. And what it means to be non-captive is we're able to offer products and services that completely tailor to what families like you might need. So we're not just stuck to one product. We can offer term insurance, universal life insurance, whole life final expense, annuities, IRAs, retirements, and college savings. I know that might be a little bit too much for you to handle right now, but we will go break down through this presentation later on.
Okay. So always remember, I'm going to quickly stop. Always remember, guys, is when you're going in between slides, especially like the next one, always make sure you're transitioning, kind of pre-framing what you're going into next.
So
right?
actually, we're a very simple company. We believe in 2 very simple financial concepts that we like to share, and we think those are game changers for families that we help. And trust me, it'll just be a quick 30 minutes. We'll go through these real quick and give you a better understanding of how money works and what we can actually do for your guys' family tonight. So the first one, have you guys ever heard of the rule of 72, compound interest?
A little bit.
A little bit. So basically, it's a compound interest formula that states you take the number 72, divide it by the percentage of interest your money is earning, and that will equal the amount of years it takes your money to double. So let's say, rewind the clocks, turn the time back to you're 29 years old. I wish I could do that, but we won't say that was just last year. And we put $10,000 into the bank, and let's say they're gracious enough to give us 4%. So we take the number 72, divide it by 4, and that will tell us our money will double every 18 years. So we put that $10,000 in, we let it sit. At age 47, we now have 20, and at age 65, you have 40,000. How does retirement look at 40,000? Not very great, right? So then we'll take, we'll look here. So now we have an 8% interest. So now it's double the interest, and now your money's doubling every 9 years using the same formula. So that same 29,000 at 29, that same 10,000 at 65, you'll have 160,000. Now, how's retirement looking? Not so bad. A whole lot better, right? So now let's say we can find somewhere we can get 12% to your money. So now with that formula, your money is doubling every 6 years. That same 10,000 at 29, at 35 is 20, 41 is 40, 47 is 80, 53 is 160, 59, 320, and now at retirement 65, how does $640,000 look?
A lot better.
A whole lot better. Now let's say we didn't know where to get any of this, and best bet case scenario was this, right? Now, do you think that it makes a big difference in the amount of interest that you're earning? And that's what this, kind of highlights for you, is that where you have your saving your money is really a big difference, and the compound interest will really make a big difference towards retirement. And so that's something that we really want to show families where to put that, where they can get that 8 to 12 interest. So let's say you had your money in the bank. Do you think the bank lets your money sit there and just sit there? No. So they take your money and invest it. They give you the 40,000 back, and they keep the other 600,000. So does that feel like somewhere where you'd want to keep your money for the long term? No, exactly. So that's something that we like to show families, and we'd like to show you where to put your money to, get that 8 to 12% interest.
Okay. So one thing too, guys, just
Just let her go through. Let her
Okay, just let her go through. Okay.
Yeah.
So now
Go ahead.
we're halfway there. Okay, so just be patient with me. We're halfway there. So taxes. If I give you a choice and you'd rather pay taxes now, later, or never?
Never.
Never, right? Okay. So there are three ways our money is taxed. The now is your checking, savings, CDs, money market, mutual funds, and stocks. So all of your gains are taxed annually. So that basically means, say you have $5,000 in the bank, it gains $200 that year, you have a $200 gain, and now you're getting taxed on that every year. So basically, bank is, and when you're saving money, you can take the 2 steps forward, but we're going to bring you 1 step back every time. So your money is never really growing how you want it to grow, right? So then people say, okay, you know what? Let me get that great thing that my job offers, that 401k. Let me save my money in there. And that's pretty much, you got to think 90% of Americans save money through there. Most of our retirement comes through our jobs, right? So you have your 401ks, your 403bs, IRAs, 457, TSPs, annuities, etc. And the thing with these, they're all qualified plans. So that means it's a 59.5 rule. You can't take that money out until you're 59.5, right? Taxes are average about 25 to 35%. And if you take the money out before 59.5, God forbid your family may need it, which we all know happens, you're getting penalized another 10% on top of that. So now you're looking at 35 to 45% of your money gone just in taxes. Now, I don't know about you, I don't know how that sits with you, but that's like giving away half of your money, right? So, and there's also early withdrawal fees and a bunch of other additional fees that you probably don't even know that you're saving. So do you have a 401k currently?
Yeah.
You do? Okay, great. Do you know how it really works? No? So I'm glad we're here. So that's something that we can definitely go through later. And now we have the tax exempt. So you have the Roth IRA, 59.5 still, no taxes, and but there is a maximum contribution. You can only, it says you can only save $5,500 per year. So saving $5,500 per year, does that sound like a lot of money to retire off of? No. So there's that maximum that you can contribute, and there's also income limitations. So meaning combined income for both of you together, if it was too much, you probably couldn't contribute to it. So do you think that movie stars or rich people have their money in the bank? No, and I'm sure they make over, I think for a single person it's $125,000? $120,000 a year. And they definitely make over that much, and I don't believe that they have their money in a 401k, right? So next we have what we call an IUL. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
No? Let me break it down to you. It's super simple. It stands for Index Universal Life. What it is no taxes, no 59.5 rule, which means you can pull your money out before 59.5. There's no risk, which means we have a minimum guaranteed floor and a cap of 15%. So remember that slide we looked at before, that 8 to 12%? We're even going above and beyond that 12% to double your money faster. Index options, which means our money is not actually in the market, it mirrors the market. It works with the S&P 500, which is the top 500 companies in the United States, Eurostock 50, which of course is the European stock, Hang Seng, which is the Asian market. And the best thing about it is it comes with what we call the IRC code 7702. Has anybody ever heard of that? You guys heard of that before? Don't feel bad. I haven't either until I joined this company, and this is probably one of the game changers in what we do for people. The 7702, it states that any money in a permanent life insurance policy can't be looked at as an asset or income. So if we were to be able to qualify you today with this plan, then that would mean you would be able to get all of these advantages for you and your family. Does that sound something that you guys might be interested in looking at later?
There you go.
Yeah?
Yeah. All right, give Janice a round of applause. Very good job. Right? Just one thing that that I've learned from Nick is always try and keep the clients engaged. Right? It's like when you're talking about the Rule 72, say how much money is that? You know, like Janita. So if you're banking with so and so, you're getting 4%. How much is it after 18 years? Keep them engaged. By the way, asking those kind of little questions helps build everything up to this. Right? So one question that I like to ask that you guys can write down too, it's like, by the way, who do you bank with? Right? It seems like a very nonchalant question, but it's like when the paperwork comes and you're filling out the paperwork, it's like, you say you bank with Bank of America, right? You say, yeah, actually I do. So, right? So it's all the little things, guys.
Trust.
It's all the little things. It's like you guys are paying attention to them as when you're asking these questions, is getting that information, right? All right, so next person that'll come up will be Anthony. So Anthony, come on up, bro.
You got it, brother.
Do you guys go through this page? This page, to be honest with you, I don't go through this page.
I still do.
Okay.
So,
I hit those 3
be
points.
coachable, maybe just go through it.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah. Okay, so who are
I do
you?
more of a verbal, I mean, but that's just me.
Me too.
But yeah, but it is good to go through. Yeah.
So who are we? War Financial Group, have you ever heard of War Financial Group before, Matt?
No.
Okay, so just to break it down, we are a financial services marketing company. You know, we work with several other companies. You know, we have a broad array of financial products and services. So we're not just like regular, company that offers one type of product. We can offer various products that could fit and different people's needs. And we're built around with your family mind and believe that with your help we can achieve anything. And so our vision right now is to build the world's best and largest financial services marketing organization. So our goal right now is to be the household name in the financial services industry. So you think about distribution, what comes to mind when you think about fast food? McDonald's, okay. And then when it comes to coffee?
Starbucks.
And then retail?
Walmart, Target.
And then when you think about financial services, so that's our mission right now. We want to help families become healthy, become wealthy, and also financially independent. So you go out, you have a large amount of money, you can find us in the street corner where you live at. And we have a proven system how to do that. So we have powerful solutions for building a successful business. So how we work through a warm market. We work through referrals. We're not the traditional market where you do cold calling or lead sheets, whatever that is, the door knocking. We do it differently, and we have a proven system to do it. So, just a little bit about more of our company. We're a financial group. Have you ever heard of Aegon or Transamerica before?
I've heard of Transamerica before.
Okay, cool. So, these two companies are actually our parent companies. So, a little bit about Transamerica. We merged with Transamerica back in 2012. We became the 6th largest company out there. Now we're actually #1 in growth and revenue. Our main headquarters right now for War Financial Group is in Duluth, Georgia. We have an administrative staff of 400 people dealing with all the administrative stuff. And also, back in 1999, Aegon bought Transamerica worth of $10 billion worth of stocks and cash. So a little bit about Aegon. Been around about 200 years, and it has a net worth about $600 billion. So you think about it, Matt, it has enough money to buy Coca-Cola, Mercedes, BMW, Microsoft, and still have a lot of money left over, which, I mean, you would agree that it's a credible company that has that much money, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so that's our parent company, located in the whole Netherlands. So a lot of people know about it because it's located in Europe. And bought Transamerica back in 1999. That's how we could hear more about Aegon, because they know that Transamerica is such a big company here in the U.S., so they started branding themselves over here. So you might have seen our name in sporting events. We also do sponsorships with NASCAR, the USA Luge Team, Pac-12, and we do sponsorships with golf as well, which our golfer is Zach Johnson. So you might be familiar with some of these companies as well. I'm going to show you in the next slide. You're probably familiar with some of these companies, Everest, Nationwide. You know how the jingle goes, right, man?
Yep, Nationwide is on your side.
Exactly. So pretty cool, right? And we also work with Pac Life, Transamerica Life, Voya, and on top of that, we work with over 400 companies, insurance companies, 100 mutual fund companies, 100 plus annuity companies, and we offer people with different various products, including insurance, retirement-based products, college savings, and the list goes on. And so the next thing what I want to go over with you is two financial concepts which I believe are really important for you to know before we can move forward. And so the first one I'm going to show you and going to talk to you about is the Rule 72. Have you ever heard of the Rule 72 before?
No.
So okay, just to break it down for you. The Rule 72 is the compound interest formula, which means you get the number 72 divided by the interest rate on your earnings and your money, and that will give you the amount of money, the number of years it would take for your money to double on your money. So for example, let's say you're 29 years old, and you have $10,000 in your bank, which by the way, which bank do you have right now?
Bank of America.
Okay, Bank of America. Do you know how much interest or you get in your bank account right
Not
now?
a lot.
Not a lot, right? So let's say they're nice to you and give you 4%, okay, on your bank account, and you have $10,000. So when you're 29, and based on the Rule 72, 4% off of this account, it will take 18 years for your money to double. So by the age of 29, your money will double at age 47. So you have $20,000. By the time you retire at 65, you have $40,000. Now, let me ask you a question, man. Are you fired out to retire with at least $40,000?
No, that's not enough.
Right? Okay. So now let's look at another example. Let's look at an 8% example. So based on Rule 72, your money will double on every 9 years. So same example, you have $10,000 at 29. Now by the time you retire, you have $160,000. So it looks a little good, right? Your retirement looks a little better, right?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. So now let's look at the example of 12%. So in this example, your money will double at every 6 years. So 29 now, by the time you retire, you have over $640,000, which is a good amount of money, right?
Yeah.
So let's say, for example, now, we don't know where to put the money. We have the $10,000. We don't know where to go. We go to the bank. But let me ask you a question, man. Do you think the amount of money, the $10,000, we put it in the vault? The bank puts in the vault, in the safe, put it somewhere in the vault, and just to let it collect dust?
No.
No? Right. So what do you think the bank does with it?
They're using it.
Right. So out of the $40,000 that you have for your retirement, they're using it for them to make their money on 8 and 12% accounts. So you think your money is safe in the bank right now?
Well, I know it's insured. I know that.
Yeah, but they're making money off of what you're making.
Yeah, they're using my money to make themselves money.
Right. And so at your job, what is it that they take off from your paycheck?
As far as
what's deducted from your paychecks? Or what's the number one enemy when it comes to money?
oh, taxes.
Right. All right. So we're almost done, by the way. This is the last thing I'm going to go over with you. But let me ask you a question, Matt. All right, not a true question, by the way. When would you rather pay taxes, now, later, or never?
Never.
Okay. So let me just go over each category with you real quick. So the now category, which is what we call liquid accounts. These are what we call short-term accounts. Okay. So you're probably familiar with the checking, savings, CDs, money market, mutual funds, and stocks. And so, say for example, you have $5,000 in one of these accounts, and it gains about $200. Based on this type of account, your money will be taxed based on the growth. So instead of taking 2 steps forward, taking 1 step forward, you're taking 2 steps back, and you're basically based on your money, you're studying your growth on your money. So what other people started looking, you started looking towards the jobs, other different types of accounts. And back in the 80s, they devised the qualified accounts, which are the tax me later accounts, which you're probably familiar with at your job, what do you have, a 401k, correct?
Yeah, 401k at Costco.
Yeah, so that's what we call the qualified plans over here, or the tax me later accounts. So these would include the 401k, 403b, IRA, 457, TSPs, fixed variable annuities, and the list goes on and on. So, like I said, these are what are considered qualified plans, which means they're qualified to be taxed. So, along with that, it has a 59.5 rule. So, if you withdraw money before that age, you'll get penalized for further withdrawal. On top of that, you'll be taxed at least 20 to 35% on average, along with a 10% IRS penalty, which your average also as well about 15, 17 different types of fees on top of that. So does it fire you up to keep your 401k?
No.
No. So let me just a way to put it. Let me make an illustration. Let's say, for example, we're in the farmer's business. We're harvesting crop and stuff like that. We go to the farmer's market and we go out and we buy a bag of seeds. Now each seed is worth a penny. Okay, so the government gives us two options because we want to build $1 million harvest. So the government says, they tax me now on the penny seeds, or we take the seeds, we plant them, we harvest them, and we harvest them $1 million harvest. Now, which makes more sense? Being taxed on the penny seeds or the $1 million harvest?
On the penny seeds.
Right. So that's what, based on the tax me later accounts, that's what's happening,
Tax me later on the
on the $1 million harvest. So now other types of plans that that the government decided to do, and what people started getting, is the tax me never, which is the Roth IRA, which is a pretty good account, but it has lots of disadvantages. For one, it has the 59.5 rule, or the withdrawal, you get penalized. Has no taxes. However, you're limited to how much you can contribute over for the year. So you can only contribute about $5,500 within the year, and there's also income limitations. So if you're single, if you're making over $120,000 annually in your income, or if you're married and you're a couple and you're making over $190,000, you're automatically disqualified. Okay. So the other example I want to talk to you about, which is one of the best products out there right now, in my opinion, and is the IOL. Have you ever heard of the IOL before?
No.
Okay. So just to break it down, the IOL, like I said, is the best product out there. Has no taxes, has no 59.5 rule, has no risk because it has a minimum guarantee floor, which is about 0.75%. So if the market crashes, you're guaranteed that 0.75% of growth, okay? And you know how I mentioned about the 8 to 12% accounts on the previous slide?
Yes.
This can do about 15%. So how it works, it mirrors the market, and we use 3 index options over here. You know how we say, don't put your eggs in one basket?
Mm-hmm.
This is a perfect example for that. So we mirror three of these index options. So it would be the S&P 500, which are the top 500 companies in the U.S., the Eurostoxx, top 50 companies in Europe, and Hang Seng, which is about the top 200 companies in China. And so how that also works is it has a tax code of the IRC 7702. So on top of that, this is how that works is because the government can tax you or get their hands on this type of account because it's a permanent life insurance plan. So you know how the example goes, the rich get rich while the poor get poor?
Mm-hmm.
This is a perfect example for that. So let me ask you this, Matt. Does it make sense to keep your 401k or stay in the current plan that you have now at Costco?
No.
Okay, so how much are you saving right now for your 401k?
About $200 a month.
Okay, let me run some numbers and let me show how it looks. and I will. And let me see if it also makes sense for you to qualify, and then we'll move forward from there. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Okay, all right, give me a round of applause.
Just got to refine a few things, because I'm paying attention, because I'm his field leadership, so I'm like picking up on the little things that we need to still improve on, right? Because that is, that is leadership. Is
Could tell he's heard it a bunch of times and has done it a bunch of times. He's got the stories, he's got the examples. Yeah.
Good use of questions too. I noticed that you keep it engaging, I think it's good. You ask a lot of questions, it's good.
Yeah, exactly. But do you guys see how simple something like this is? It's-
We're going over, what, 3 slides? I mean, it's not,
Yeah, it's not rocket science, guys. It's not. It's just Rule 72, 3 tax boxes. Rule 72, 3 tax boxes. This, guys, right here, those 2 slides, and you understanding the illustration, that's your moneymaker. That's your moneymaker. By the way, who's licensed in this room? Should be everybody, except Swanson. Right? But now, you guys got to keep in mind, because I think Reggie should be done any minute, so CJ, I guess you're lucking out today. Get you next time. But here's the thing is, you guys have a license to literally change people's lives, their legacies, but not only that, but also for your family. Right? Because remember, you're building a book of business for yourself as you're out serving families. Right? You're building your passive income, your residual income for the future, which, by the way, you can pass on generation after generation after generation after generation. Perfect example right now, Jack Linder's son, Brian Linder, is pretty much inherited his dad's business for the most part. And that's a
branding.
$2 to $3 million a year business. Pretty much overrides all of Texas. Talk about overriding a state. Now you talk about buying a home, and you talk about a whole country. Right? But this is as simple as it can get. Now the question is, how many people can you get in front of and do this? You can have a simple conversation, right? Like if you guys are, if you're not comfortable, or so to speak, if you're comfortable to do it out on your own, then just call a few friends or a few family members and say, hey, I'm starting up a business, or I started a business where we're educating people about money, and I just want to expose you to some information and just have you be a great referral source for me, right? That's a perfect way. I just want you to be a referral source and get your feedback. Yeah. By the way, you don't have to do anything, you don't have to buy anything, I just want you to see the information. And if you know anybody, awesome. If you don't, right now, it's no big deal, but if anybody comes to your mind that talks about planning for retirement, life insurance, getting out of credit card debt, or pretty much anything with personal finance, make sure that you send them my way, right? But that's the purpose of these KTPs, is really to let people know what you got going on, right? And as you're building your clientele, you guys gotta realize some of the best people to go back to and ask for referrals are your clients, right? Like you can be able to go, Nick and I were just talking about this the other day, you can literally go back and call pretty much any of your clients or all your clients, ask them, hey, who do you know that needs help getting ahead financially? Some of the things that I did for you, who comes to mind? Now here's the thing, be specific. Go ahead, Reggie.
All right, you got a guess already?
Right.
Yes, sir.
So we're gonna wrap up with this really quick. So for you guys that have guests, go ahead. Here's the thing I wanna wrap up with. It's, if you're not asking, you're not gonna receive. Plain and simple. If you're not asking for referrals, you're not getting them. If you're not calling, making appointments, and asking to book an appointment and visit with people, you're not gonna get it. The better you are at asking questions, right, the better chance you have of helping families. I'm gonna give you guys one little thing, something I saw earlier today. And I think I should have saved it already. Oh, no, it didn't save it. Okay. Oh, there it is.
It was scary.
Right here. All right, this last one.
You just had it.
Yeah, this one. Without financial education, your risks go up, your taxes go up, and your returns go down.
Mm.
With financial education, I gotta finish that. With financial education, your risks go down, returns go up, and taxes go down. Isn't that an IU wealth?
Yeah.
What else do you guys being in WFG, what else do you take advantage of? A bunch of tax write-offs. So what I'll tell you guys is take full advantage of WFG, because guess what? It will take care of your family as long as you put in the work.
That's right.
Right? So other than that, guys, we'll wrap up. We'll do meeting after meeting. And, make sure you book a time with your trainer, go over a few things, and then make sure you put in the work up until the next BPM. So with that being said, have a great rest of the night, guys.
Good
Yeah.
stuff. Thank you, Matt.